Why the fuck did I tip Sydney? Why the actual fuck did I tip Sydney? Why did I think this tipping competition series was a good idea? Why is this so painful? Find out all that and more in the official EggFooty tipping competition round 7 predictions. Now this week's going to be a bit interesting because as of recording, round 6 isn't actually finished yet. You see, we got the Anzac Day match between Collingwood and Essendon happening literally in a couple hours, so that's going to be very interesting. I'm going to time this video so it comes out after the game's already finished, but I'm still going to take you through my tips from the previous week. We've got 6 out of 9 so far, not counting the Essendon-Collingwood game. If Essendon get up, I'll be 7 and 9, and if Collingwood win, I'll stay at 6 and 9. So yeah, not a bad week. I had the absolute shocker of tipping Sydney to go up against Geelong. I have no idea what the hell I was smoking when I made that claim. But yeah, everything else, Adelaide, St Kilda, and Gold Coast and Melbourne in particular came in clutch. Shout out Gil for match fixing Richmond into shanking all their kicks in the 4th quarter. Appreciate it, bro. Let's have a look at the top 10. Now we got AFL Footy 9 starting to cement himself in the top spot. A few other people are hanging in there. There's been a little bit of movement, including our mate Studi, who's rocketed up into the top 5. Very interesting. Let's see if he can maintain that spot throughout the season. As for me, I'm in the absolute shits. I'm ranked 180. I don't even, aside from the Sydney tip, I wasn't even that bad this week, so I don't know what the hell I've got to do. It's a 9-point margin between me and first place, so it's gonna be, maybe I just need one good week and I can rocket up to the top. Who knows? In any case, let's get into my predictions for round 7. Now, my goal for this week is to not do stupid shit, not make stupid tips. Let's see if this statement ages well, just like my Sydney tip. We're kicking off Friday night footy. We got St Kilda taking on Port Adelaide. Now, St Kilda's coming off a really great win against Carlton. Port Adelaide, they had a good win as well. They beat West Coast comfortably. However, they were struggling for a little bit there. And, you know, it is West Coast. Meanwhile, St Kilda were neck and neck with Carlton, and they eventually ran away with it. Judging by their form, judging by how they've fared against different opposition, I'm going to back St Kilda. Because it's their home ground, they look in better nick than Port Adelaide, and I think they'll get up by about 15 points. Saturday afternoon footy at the Gabba. We got my Brisbane Lions taking on Fremantle. Now, yous already know my rule. I always back my Brisbane Lions, and it looks like they're starting to come good. And you know, Charlie Cameron was on fire last week. After that 7-goal haul, he's rocketed up to 3rd in the Coleman medal behind Charlie Kerner and the other Cameron, Jeremy. And I think on the other hand, Fremantle are in trouble. I don't know what they can do to fix it. I have no idea what the hell's going on over there. Justin Longmuir's got his work cut out for him, and I reckon the Dockers are going to struggle against Brisbane. I'll be at that game, and if you recognise me from my voice, please do not dox me. Saturday afternoon footy at the SCG, we've got Sydney Swans taking on GWS Giants. Now, I'm not going to be making the same mistake of backing Sydney ever again for the next 2 weeks. I hate this football team at the moment. They made me look like such a fool. If Essendon win tonight, I could be 8 and 9 if they didn't play so shit. I have no idea why I tipped them last week. I'm very angry with them. So I'm going to be tipping GWS to beat Sydney. And you know, not just because they fucked up my tipping, but also because, you know, GWS played really well against Brisbane. They were in it till literally the last 2 minutes or so. Meanwhile, Sydney just looked absolutely shit. No hope whatsoever. And even though 6% of people on the website reckon GWS is going to get up, I still think the Swans are going to fall to the mighty Orange Tsunami. Saturday afternoon footy at Marvel Stadium, we've got Western Bulldogs taking on Hawthorn. Now, Hawthorn, they had a really heartbreaking loss against Adelaide last week. And you know, Bulldogs played a great game against Fremantle. It's going to be really interesting to see how this goes. I think Hawthorn's going to be really fired up and ready to stick it to the Western Bulldogs after their loss last week. And Western Bulldogs are in really good form. Marcus Bontempelli is having an absolute blinder. Even though Hawthorn's going to be really good on Saturday, I'm still going to back Western Bulldogs in to get the job done. Saturday night at the MCG, we've got Melbourne taking on North Melbourne. And that's a game that could either be an absolute slaughtering, or it could be a really close game depending on which versions of Melbourne and North Melbourne show up. I think the D's will get up. they should get up, but you know, North are a better chance than people think, I reckon. It'd be really funny if they did get up, but I think Melbourne's too mature and too professional to let that happen. Saturday night footy at Optus Stadium, we've got West Coast Eagles taking on the Carlton Footy Club. I mean, come on, bro. I've got to back Carlton then. The way they played against St Kilda, I know they lost, but the way they played against St Kilda was really clean and really professional until they weren't. Until Jack Silvani shanked that goal from like 2 meters out, and then everything collapsed. But at least they were hanging in there for most of the game, right? West Coast, they've got like half their team injured again. They have no hope. They look absolutely hopeless at the moment, and with that all taken into account, even though it's a home game for West Coast, I still think Carlton are going to get the job done against West Coast, as do 92% of people on the website. Sunday Arvo footy at the MCG, we've got Essendon taking on Geelong. Now Geelong were absolutely stellar against Sydney on Saturday night. And, you know, unfortunately, Essendon haven't played their game against Collingwood yet. I'm hoping they've won. Even though we don't know how Essendon are going to fare with their form, with injuries, anything else like that coming out of this game against Collingwood tonight, I still think Geelong are going to get up by about 15 or 20 points or so. And it's going to be really interesting to see how the Scott brothers go against each other. That should be a really good game. I'm really looking forward to it. Sunday Arvo at Marvel Stadium, we've got Richmond taking on the Gold Coast Suns. Now, thanks to some within the YouTube community, we already know that Gil McLachlan is planning to sabotage Richmond by making them match fix themselves into kicking themselves out of a contest again. So, with that all being said, I think I'm going to back Gold Coast in against Richmond, even though only 8% of people on the website reckon they're going to get up. And you know, all jokes aside, I think Gold Coast, I have a good feeling about Gold Coast. I think even though they were just playing North Melbourne last week, I think they showed good signs, and I think if they can clean up their skills and not make as many mistakes in things like kickouts and marks and missed handballs and stuff like that, I think at their best, they should be able to beat Richmond, who have a massive injury list, coming off a bad loss against Melbourne, and they absolutely hate Marvel Stadium. We know that already. So taking all that into account, even though it's kind of a risky tip, I still think Gold Coast are going to get up against Richmond, probably by about 10 points or so. Finally, at Adelaide Oval, the Adelaide Crows taking on Collingwood. Now, as impressive as the Adelaide Crows have been the last few weeks, their form against Hawthorn, a team that's at the bottom of the ladder, concerned me. And you know, like I said about Essendon, we don't know how Collingwood are going to fare tonight, how they're going to go with injuries or anything else like that. They've got a problem with their tools at the moment, but I think despite all that, I still think Collingwood are going to get the job done against Adelaide. They're in different stages of their development, I think, and I think Collingwood are going to be a bit more mature and a bit more clean when it's all said and done. And I think Adelaide are good enough where they won't get embarrassed, I don't think. And I think it'll be about a 10-15 point margin for Collingwood. And there you have it. God, damn, that was a horrible week for me last week. I actually didn't do too bad with my tipping. It's just that Sydney tip, bro. My God. Don't ever let horse cook again, bro. God damn. What do you think of my tips? Are they good? Are they bad? Do you think I'm a f***ing fool? Would you like to bully me for tipping Sydney last week against Geelong? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, join my Discord, come get amongst it. Please consider becoming a channel member if you have the coin. I would greatly appreciate your support. Speaking of channel members, I'd like to shout out Sharksray and Big Mac Jon, our tier 3 absolute legend channel members. And if you'd like me to read your name out on screen or have it as text on the screen, make sure you come get amongst it and become a channel member. And with that, thank yous for watching. I love yous, I appreciate yous, and I'll see yous tomorrow for the round 6 review.